So many of our problems would be solved if we just uncomplicated our lives. It's just we accepted as status quo that life is complicated. And then as you believe, what you believe becomes your reality. And really, life is not complicated. We make it through poor decision making, lack of self-discipline, lack of back to basics, good habit patterns, creates all this complication because we want that immediate gratification. So we get involved in toxic relationships, we spend on our credit cards, we eat unhealthy foods, on and on and on. All these different things. We watch too much TV, and then we want spiritual answers to fix all the problems, the mound of problems, the piles of manure that we've been creating for ourselves. And that's not the way it works. The best way to be spiritual is you don't need to read all these books. You don't need to go and sit down at the feet of gurus and all these things. The best way is just get your daily life in order. Start with the small things. Start with exercise. Start with eating healthy. Start with simplifying your life. Start with getting rid of all the things that don't bring you joy, don't bring you that all the burdens, the complications. It's amazing. I talked about my bike trip, but that like 2.5 months where I had to carry all my possessions, and I started with all these possessions, and it's amazing how conscious you become of all the burdens that you carry. And I became conscious of all the burdens I was carrying, physical burdens, when I had to lug it mile after mile after mile. And I was shocked towards the end of the trip how little I needed to be happy. In fact, there was a direct correlation. The less I had, the freer I felt and the happier I felt. And I think that's the case in life. We have this sense of emptiness, and then we complicate our lives to try to fill that emptiness, and it creates this cyclical effect, that a treadmill we can never get off of. And working crazy hours, having all kinds of financial responsibilities and burdens and things like this, because we look at the short term. So examining just the best place to start is not, what is there, reincarnation? Is there a God? Isn't there a God? I want to practice loving everybody. I think our first place we got to start, I want to change the world. I want to help other people. I want other people to see the light. The first thing we got to do is just get our own house in order and make it tidy, efficient, disciplined, and fruit-bearing, and focused on staying in the black, not in the red. We run ourselves in the red with sleep deficit, spending deficit, energy deficit, overweight, eating too many calories, and we just create our own misery, and then we can't understand why we're not happy, why we have so many problems. And I think the spirit is just dying to be free, be joyful, be at peace. If we would just clear all the clutter and rubbish and garbage and just nonsense that we have accumulated. And we're pack rats. We are total pack rats, not only with physical things. I'm talking about everything. We accumulate unnecessary acquaintances or friendships. We accumulate unnecessary worries and stresses. And once you start clearing out all this clutter, man, your spirit on its own starts to reach an equilibrium, and it's a natural state. And we don't feel that, so we try to fix it by adding more things to it. Enlightenment, awakening, whatever you want to call it, spirituality, is subtraction. It's not addition. it's subtraction. And once you start exploring and going down that path, it is exhilarating. And another shift that happens, we're so destination focused, we want to get to this point, and then we don't realize the joy and beauty of each step that we take as we move towards that place or that location that we want to go. It has nothing, once you start awakening, once you start freeing your life, the destination is really irrelevant. It's the process of the joy. So you're not trying to, okay, I'm going to be free. I'm going to start simplifying my life. I'm going to get rid of everything. I'm going to get rid of toxic friends because I want to feel free. No, that's not the goal. The joy is the person you become in each step. So each time I get rid of something, or each time I simplify my life, or each time I enhance my freedom, that is the joy. I'm not trying to get anywhere. It's the person I'm becoming in that process. And then your life is always a new painting, a new revelation, exciting, because there's nowhere. Once you set a goal and you're trying to get there, you're not going to be happy until you get there. And previous videos talked about life energy. Your most precious resource is life energy. And I think the foundation, we all want love, we all want security and safety. I think the most beneficial thing that just has the ripple effect to all areas of our lives, our well-being, is freedom. We want to be free. We want to be able to make the decisions we want, when we want, how we want, with who we want, where we want. And we don't want to feel burdened, obligated with responsibilities. And I'm not saying, you have to go dump all your responsibilities. I'm saying we need to learn how to properly manage them. And learn to say no. And even something as simple as approval seeking. We want people to like us. That is such a burden that we lug around. And when you start examining your life, you start seeing all these burdens that you're lugging around, and then you can't understand why you're not happy. And then you want the answer in some book or some, new age philosophy. And it's really back to it's getting back to basics, back to fundamentals that at the core becomes a foundation in which we stand like on a solid rock, and we're not subjected to the ebb and flow of the good and bad and the chaos of life. And you could just kind of relax. You can just be. So I think the first step is taking responsibility. Hey, man, why am I complaining about my life? I created this mess. What actions, what small, seemingly insignificant actions can I take today, right now, that will immediately impact? I mean, something as simple as going to bed early. You feel a lot better going to bed early and waking up early than you do staying. I mean, there's all these little things. Eating fruit in the morning. These little decisions will completely transform your spiritual walk, and that's what we want. And there's no quick fix. There's no just read me a book or give me the right answer. It's I think the most important thing is self-discipline, and learning to say no, and learning to live with very little. Very little approval, very little possessions, very little. You need very little money to survive. You don't need to eat a lot of food. You need very little food, nourishing, sustaining food. You need very little entertainment, and the contentment just resides within, and you're just at peace with who you are, without all this external stimulus that just causes our spirit to go haywire.